Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear us?
Can you see me? Yeah, I can hear you. Now
Very
you can
nice.
see me.
Oh,
Hey,
wow. You're
a live journey.
Oh,
Long
okay.
time no see, boys.
Long time no see.
Let's make the best BlenderNest ever made.
All
Back
right.
to the glory days of yeah.
Yeah, I'll
We should
I'll
be
ping
more
people.
often here.
Yeah, where have you been?
I mean, I've been I mean nowhere different. But I wanted to get back on. I feel like there hasn't been a good representation on all sides, and I'm here to provide the missing, whatever.
Yeah,
And yeah,
Awesome.
fantastic. I'm gonna ping people.
So where are you exactly now? Like how far did
I'm
you travel?
I'm somewhere in New Jersey. As to like where in New Jersey, anybody's guess is as good as but I should be pretty close to Pennsylvania. This is a cemetery. I'm not going to be in the
Ooh.
cemetery because that's disrespectful to the dead people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Ooh.
that historically you've always had the best backdrops, and now you're just
Yeah,
one-upping it.
I feel like you just go out your front door. There's a lot of interesting stuff, Like even if you were to go on your front street, you could get some good locations.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that like if you do it, people are gonna call you like a copycat or anything. You should do it.
Yeah, totally. Maybe I'll do it once we finally move. I think there'll be some nicer places.
Oh yeah,
I
where are you
remember.
moving to?
Yeah, I remember you having like you being in a bathtub, but not on the bathroom actually. So
Well,
I think
that
we
was
should try
actually
that.
a video. That was not a podcast location.
Yeah.
The bathtub. Oh my God! In theory, really dangerous, right? If the water goes on, that's death. But that's the kind of sacrifice you got to make to.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a vegetable involved or something? Were you
Yeah,
peeling
carrots, yeah.
carrots?
Oh,
yeah,
that was
that
potatoes.
video.
Yes, potatoes, yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, yeah, no. I was peeling potatoes. That's right. I forgot about that detail. Whenever I picture it, I just picture me in the bathtub. There's no potatoes, and that's not an accurate image of what it was.
It just goes without saying.
Yeah.
So
now like I've toned down some, less potatoes, less bathtubs. Although I found this abandoned mill I wanted to record in, but I wasn't feeling it.
So, like, for your current videos now, you're still putting out videos at like a fairly good pace, like considering you're on your travels. How are you coming up with the ideas? Do you have like a list of things you wanted to go through, or are you kind of making them up as you're walking along?
No, it's like the same as it's always been. It just kind of comes out of nowhere. And I will say there are more examples where I'm like, I see something like that. Like recently, I saw this like thing on the ground, and I just wanted to remake it. But I feel like ideas just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Arturo.
Hey man.
Hey. Hey, what's up?
I love that shirt as well.
Everybody.
Arturo, nice shirt.
Kev.
Your colors.
Yeah. And hey Kev.
Can you imagine? Like in the tops, in the original 6, 3 people are actually here today.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
I've seen some of the recent ones. It's been a hot minute since there's been a lot of people on at the same time, right?
Yes,
yeah, forever.
Yeah. Things kind of like lulled out a bit at the end of last year and the beginning of this one.
We're going to be fighting for the podium here.
Yeah.
It's all yours.
Here we go.
Hey.
Michael.
6 people. It's been really long time since we had 6 people.
Yeah.
So CG, are you having trouble eating? Is it starting to get in your mouth?
There's no more issues. Before, it was a fucking nightmare. Anything. I was eating a lot of McFlurries.
Oh,
Got some white on the stash.
I don't know if that counts as eating.
No, it doesn't. I actually switched to all healthy. The only food I have on me right now, carrots, apples, and oranges.
Still with the carrots. I remember you went through a
carrots
carrot phase.
Your eyesight, you understand?
Yeah.
As the only one of 2 people here who doesn't need glasses, because of the carrots.
Yeah, I don't need them technically, but I like them.
You do. You do.
I didn't know they were style.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. I had a Juice Man Jr. once, and I started making carrot juice all the time. I kid you not, like my skin turned orange for like a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was eating so many. I mean, I could see through walls, but but my skin was orange. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Fair trade.
So
I should try that.
like the glasses are definitely for style, because I use them for like most videos nowadays, and occasionally I'll forget to put them on, and I do get a comment that's like, hey, it looks too weird, can you put them back on? Like,
That's always the vibe with people who always wear glasses. You take them off and you're like, wow, you're like an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that, nope.
Face reveal.
Oh no, definitely don't recognize Arturo without the glasses on.
Yeah.
I think I made like a pretty good balance of not having and having them, so
Yeah, you actually look natural in both.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow,
But I
thanks.
use them all the time.
Yeah.
Unnatural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice background as well,
Nothing
Arturo.
wrong with that.
Thank you. This
Yeah, I
is
love the dark
if you
ink.
don't know, now you know. Arcane Gan. So new video out. Go check it out. But I was
Thank
gonna
God
say,
I
in
can't see mine.
classes, yours is right over. Where is it?
It's not
Wait,
there. I think it's behind
It's
you
not
or
there.
something.
Yeah, it's later in the video. When I used to get, so I've had my hair long in phases. I get it short, like about Curtis's size and kind of everybody else's size here, except for or length rather. But when I used to go from a drastic cut of having it really long, kind of like I have it now, to having it short and tight, my teachers wouldn't recognize me, and so sometimes I'd be in class, cleaning my glasses, and then be almost kicked out of class because the teacher is like, "What are you doing? This is not your period. Go, I'm not your teacher." I'm like, "Hello, Miss Lewis, it's me," and she's like, "Oh my God, what have you done?" So I'm looking forward to the shock factor once I do end up getting a haircut. And it's all short.
Don't do it, dude. Don't do it.
Then do
Talking
it.
about that,
With Samson, you know what happens. And it
True,
takes
my
so
strength
Yeah,
will be
man.
gone.
You lose all your strength.
Aaron did it, Aaron had a haircut.
They did.
Mm.
Yeah, but Aaron's hair was long even after the haircut, you know?
Yeah.
He had a trim. That's all it is.
Yeah, holy shit. The day he sent me the picture, I was like,
ends.
Yeah.
oh my God. I was literally crying, like, why did you do this? I kind of like long hair, but my parents doesn't really like it. They'll say like, get out of the house if you have long hair. So it's like, okay, fine, I'll cut my hair.
Speaking about hair, I think they're starting to work more on the hair systems in Blender coming up for like the new.
Oh yeah, right. This is a Blender podcast.
You know what about it?
I don't know much about it. All I know is people just being disappointed that they're not focusing on more, like, important things.
There will always be
like
something where
what?
people, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, anything. So
Geometry nodes.
more geometry nodes for like what was it, like UV stuff, and compositor as well, although there is movement.
The new texturing stuff.
Yeah, the texturing layering. Again, there's more controversy about that because I've seen contrasting opinions about the layered texture stuff on Twitter, but it's the same with every change, isn't it, really?
But I understood the hair stuff was supposed to be like GeoNodes integrated. And if that's the case, oh boy, I'm excited for that change.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. Like, I mean, this is coming from somebody who's, I use software that does it all and then some already. But when Blender starts doing this stuff, it's really interesting because it's like, it's cool because it's easier a lot of times in Blender to just go in and do stuff until it scales, and then it all falls apart because then the viewport just can't keep up. Your computer freezes, it locks, it crashes. But on a smaller level, it's great. So getting this stuff, like, I was trying to ignore Blender nodes forever, or geometry nodes for a long time, and because I did a video and then like everything changed, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with this again. But then I was like, all right, screw it, I'll do a few videos using geometry nodes, and it was fun.
Yeah,
it's enjoyable.
I'm looking forward to the real-time physics solvers for GeoNodes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
because I think that one's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah,
it's going to be great, but they need to make it scalable because those simulations are going to get so big so fast, and computers are going to start crashing, and everyone's going to start complaining and crying about it, and it's just, I mean, and rightfully so. But again, people expect Blender to be able to solve these things, and it needs to be written for that. So
Yeah.
they got to be careful when they roll out that sort of thing with those solvers, because those can grow so
So
fast.
huge.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
Especially with
yeah,
particles, right?
Charan knows. Yeah,
Yeah.
Charan knows.
I've been using Houdini for the past 5 days continuously now. No Blender at all. And then
Wow.
I've been doing this particle simulations and wedging. Wedging is a process
Yeah.
where you automate multiple, like just by giving a random value, you'll be like doing iterative simulations. So I
And then
mean,
you
it's basically you create the system and you give random values to parameters, and then you'll get different outputs. So
yep,
I just
and then you
left.
merge it all back together. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's for the particle systems, right? Because it gives you more depth, I suppose. I just did like one render. I sent it to Curtis. To make it, it took just around 30 minutes to create the system. But simulation itself took, I think, 5 hours. I mean, like,
Hmm.
Yep.
I have a 64 gigs of RAM and 12 cores, and I think it's pretty decent, but still, the number of particles grew so quickly. I think it had about like what 15 million points or something. And if
You said
Blender
it's
can't
a
handle
5 hour
it,
simulation for 15 million points.
I have no idea. Like, I mean, I did some stupid stuff. I think, like it started
Nah, you
rewriting the
didn't do
previous
anything
ones.
stupid. It's Houdini's fault. It fucking kills me that Houdini has a save node. Like even saving is like a function.
Yeah,
Wait, is
Yep.
that a
Yeah,
thing?
saving
file
is
caching.
yes. A file sop is a saving node. It's amazing. So, but yeah, like so that's the crux, right? So Blender can handle amazing amounts of geometry. Like I've pushed it and been surprised. Like I have a video coming out hopefully soon that I'm pushing it, and I'm blown away, but it can't draw it. That's the problem. It
Yeah.
can't draw. So it's just it like Cycles will render a billion polygons. It'll handle it. But there's like a bottleneck somewhere in Blender that I hope they solve at some point, and I don't know if they're putting emphasis on that versus the other features, but I mean, core functionality, if they're going to go into solvers, they're going to need that because like it'll handle 15 million or 150 billion, well, not billion, but it'll handle quite a bit, but it won't
What do
draw
you
it.
can though?
So,
Yeah, that's the problem. If you give it a billion
yeah.
particles, it will handle it. That's like it's so stupid anyway. So talking about like simulations and Blender. Recently, I think in Curtis' video, he actually mentioned about point clouds. Like
Yeah, I was
you
going
can
to
actually
mention that.
input
Yeah.
points. Yeah, like it's really great because I don't have to like render in like mantra. It sucks. I hate it so much because it's so slow. I can just
It's
import it
slow.
to
Yeah.
Blender and I can just do it as a point cloud and I can get amazing results. And I really
That's
love lighting in Blender because it's so straightforward and you only have like 4 types of nodes. And it
Mhm.
really sucks because there is no interactive viewport in Houdini. Like, I mean, it's yucky, right?
Yeah,
Do
that's
you
where Blender
export
shines.
Say that again, Tom?
What's
Yeah.
that?
I just wanted to know, do you export Alembic? Like how do you get from one to the other?
Yeah, Alembic
Alembic.
is the only way because or else you won't get any other. Like probably USD also supports now because Blender also has a USD exporter
Dude,
and
show of
importer.
hands, who here has touched USD? Not once. Never.
No.
I've
You
used
have
it.
never. Okay, okay.
I've been experimenting heavily with it because I need to. Um,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
it's painful. I'm not. It's not straightforward. Like it should be straightforward, and it's definitely sold as straightforward, but it's not yet. It'll get
yeah,
there, but
for
it's
sure.
ooh, not
I
fun.
mean, like component builder in Houdini's, stage manager. Holy shit.
Yeah,
It's the
it's not.
worst.
Yeah, like like, Solaris has such potential. It's so awesome, but using it is like so. It's so hard to grasp. But like I'm like screw it. I bought Clarisse and I'm like completely happy with it. So if I need like trillions and trillions of polygons in the scene at once and I need to like move my camera around interactively, I can do it now. But like I'm just waiting for Solaris because I like the Houdini paradigm. I mean I like working in Houdini and I like that way of working, nodal based and all that. But it like it's just not straightforward. It's not intuitive yet.
Yeah. And I really want to know what Tom thinks about this, because have you heard about Clarisse?
Have I heard about Clarisse?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's like the render engine for when you need to like instance big numbers. I mean, I don't know why. I guess I remember CG Geek made a video where he made like a forest or something. I don't remember if he rendered in Cycles or not. But
Yeah, he did
Made it
Cycles.
in Cycles, yeah.
where were you going with it? What about Clarisse?
Clarisse is, I mean, it's an
Okay.
alien software, basically, you know. Kev used it, so Kev,
Nobody
you should
knows
know
how
about
it
it.
works, dude. Like nobody programmed it. It just kind of like showed up, and
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Okay, this is a thing."
It did. It was like part of the Roswell. Like it crashed in the 1940s, and it was hidden, and now it's out in the world, and people are using it. Like it's incredible. It really is. Like I bought a license of it, and it's amazing. But it has certain use cases. Like you wouldn't use it for everything. But the cool thing about it is you can use it to like, if you have a team of people out there, you can have them all like flooding, like you could be like the conductor and your orchestra is out there creating all the different pieces, and it all assembles in Clarisse, and it's beautiful. It's wonderful. So for shows, like I think I was watching something. I think DNEG is using it. Was it DNEG or Pixelmondo? I think DNEG was using it as their
DNEG,
primary
yeah.
renderer. Yeah, they're using it as their
Angie?
primary. Double Negative, who used to be Double Negative, now they go by DNEG. But they were doing the Star Trek. I think they did the Star Trek episode, season 2 and season 3 of Discovery, and they were using Clarisse as their primary render engine. So everything was feeding into that, and then they were rendering from there and going into Nuke. So that's pretty cool. It's a cool workflow issue, but I mean, it's so far above and beyond the needs of most of the Blender community. But it's there and it's useful, and it's a great tool if you need that kind of scale.
Yeah,
You
for
can work
sure.
that way. You can work that way in Blender too. It's awesome. You can work with what is it, instance to scene, and there's a whole workflow with collections and with appending in Blender that you can work that way as well in the studio setup. It crashes a lot, but that's whatever. I'll shut up.
So if I like,
Oh,
I have a scene and I render it in Cycles and I render the same thing with Clarisse, is it faster or only if I have like tons of geometry and otherwise it doesn't matter?
So
I haven't done a one-on-one.
So one
Been a
thing
long
about
time.
Clarisse is like you can actually have billion polygons. It's like nanite, but for visual effects. It doesn't
Yes.
matter how many polygons you have. It can handle it, and your RAM will only occupy like 1.5 or 2 gigabytes. That's it. I have no idea how it happens, but that's how it
strange,
works.
because when you think about it, like each dot is like you have to at least store its position. So like, how do you? Because you need to have at least 3 times the number of particles you have bits of information. So how the fuck do they get it so well?
Exactly. It's
Yeah,
alien software.
pointers. It's alien. Like it's crashed with. It's from Roswell.
So
yeah,
one
so-
thing about it is, it doesn't save it in the RAM. It basically streams the data.
Yeah,
That's
streaming
what it streams instead of loading it. I don't know how that is,
called
but
magic.
yeah, it's kind of
But-
magical.
But going on the render engine, their older render engine, the legacy render engine that they use right now, that's production, is really good. The one that's coming is phenomenal. Angie
Angie.
is going to be like, it's a hybrid CPU GPU system, kind of like Karma is going to be with XPU,
Yeah,
and
random
and
XPU.
it's a phenomenal render engine. It's very fast. It's very capable. Production proven on TV shows and films. So yeah, it's there. But I mean, honestly, like it all feeds into the comp anyway. So you can use any render engine as long as you're getting the results you want. It doesn't really matter. Cycles is more than capable for so many.
only
things.
problem
Like,
is
I know
Blender.
people will be like, no, it's not. Like it really is.
I love Cycles. It's my
It's a
favorite.
great
Cycles
render
is standalone. I think it will be the best render engine for most of it. Like
I know. I was so upset because hybrid. What was it?
Hey, wait, what you got there?
Yeah. What did you get there?
So like during that, this happens every once in a while. New Jersey people are nice. At least I'm in the rich area you were talking about, Kev, Bedminster, and everybody's like just
Oh.
topping cookies and shit,
Yeah.
So I got this and like $20. So we're fucking,
Somebody spotted you $20. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude,
And
it's
the
very
coo-
nice
and
because in
cookies.
the beginning I just kind of looked homeless, but now I have a sign explaining exactly what I'm doing. So it's like, whatever.
Wait, can
Yeah.
we see the
Wow.
sign? Can you show it on here?
Yeah. I haven't actually. I think I've like hinted at it. Maybe I even haven't. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
It very accidentally it turned out to be a Ukrainian flag, which isn't a bad
Like-
thing, but it wasn't intentional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
wondering about that.
you probably had that made before the invasion even happened.
I
yeah,
think
man.
how many months ago did this whole thing start? Like 1,
Three.
2.
Three.
I don't know. Maybe
3
it's
weeks.
like right at the same time.
Mm.
Yeah. It's a good coincidence, though.
So
yeah,
where
dude,
are
I
you?
must have run into some like Russian who's like mad angry. I'm like, dude, it's just the sign. The colors go well together.
I was just talking about it. Like, there is blue in the background, and I'm wearing yellow.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
sure.
I got
why
blue.
not?
I mean,
Yeah, blue and yellow
my
there, yeah.
cover's blue, I guess. That's not really good enough.
Yeah.
I did a piece of
Sure.
artwork.
So-
That's my thing.
Yeah.
So where are you ending? Where's your end destination?
Total and Los Angeles.
Oh, no way. All right.
Yes, you're in LA, right?
I'm in LA, yeah. You're actually
Dude, I
like
keep
doing the
meeting people. Dude, I have contacts in LA now. I didn't before, but now, well, I don't have anybody's phone numbers. It's only like if I coincidentally stumble across them on the street, then I have contacts.
Yeah, let me know as you get closer to LA.
Yeah, dude, I'll let you know. Because
Cool.
at that point, dude, I'm just going to be an orange man. I'm going to need water, you know?
Sunblock, man. Use a lot of sunblock, copious amounts, especially as you reach the
100%.
western states. Like you
Yeah.
don't need it right
My
now in
mom
New Jersey.
kept telling me. She kept telling me, I'm like, listen, you're a mom. You don't get it. My skin's not going to like... But then I, she said it enough. And then I'm like, okay. And then I bought some sunblock.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You don't need it in New Jersey. Like you never need sunblock in New Jersey, but like I'm just kidding. You do, but not for most of the year. That sky is very indicative
well-
of New Jersey. You're giving me flashbacks, man. That's where I grew up.
Yeah, talking about meeting people, I think this is a good place for me to tell everyone that I got into Bournemouth University in UK
UK baby.
for
Nice.
masters in digital effects. It's mostly a Houdini based course, so that's why I'm actually trying to like get in speed with Houdini. So once I graduate, mostly I could land a job in the top 5 visual effects studios like DNEG, ILM, Method Studios and stuff. So if everything goes well, I might work in visual effects, in an industry after 1 year. So I'll be moving
That'd be
to UK this September, and I could meet Curtis, Aaron on the day itself. I think.
Yeah, because you'll be coming into my turf immediately. You'll be coming in at Heathrow.
Yes.
So me and Aaron will come and say hi, pick you up.
Yeah, pick
That'd
me
be
up.
awesome.
Yeah,
Apparently,
actually.
Aaron's gonna drive down. Did you say that's his plan?
yeah. Aaron said he'll try down.
Whereas
to
I'm
meet
gonna
me.
be I'll be the urban nomad, so I'll be like public transporting all the way there. I'll be oyster carding
Yeah.
underground to Heathrow.
Yeah,
That's
That'd
so
be fun.
awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure. But then, yeah, I'm really excited to meet everyone because I think this is the best chance for me to actually come to Blender conference this year, probably if everything pans out. So I'm really excited. Like I think most of you will attend, and I wanna just meet everyone once.
Yeah, because
It's a once
Yeah.
in a lifetime opportunity for me, at least.
it's a very short trip from London to Amsterdam. So
Yeah, that's exactly.
yeah,
that'd be
interesting.
awesome, man.
And,
Yeah.
and
Do
you'll,
you
you'll-
guys know what month it falls on conventionally?
what was that again?
A month usually Blender conferences when it isn't canceled.
October usually.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's usually October.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
October for the Amsterdam, and then I think they were aiming for June or July for the American one, whenever that's gonna happen.
If that happens, it'll be in LA, right?
Yeah, I think that's the plan. Just
Are
like-
they still talking about LA? Because that would be awesome.
I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
I
that'd be
want you to
really-
be in Amsterdam. Sorry.
But
No,
I'm
no.
mobile
I
as
mean,
well.
there'll be
of course.
Amsterdam.
Yeah. Yeah. No, of course you want it to be in Europe because I mean, you're going to be there. I was excited that it was going to be in LA because it was going to be like a few miles from where I live. So that would have been.
Yeah,
I think the
could've,
plan,
probably.
like the ideal plan, was to do both. So there'd be one in June and one in October, because it's not like
Yeah.
they necessarily have to pay for the conferences out of like the Blender fund. Like the ticket costs and everything else is what pays for it, and they're usually like fairly expensive tickets. You know, you're looking at like a few $100-ish, or like maybe more.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah, but it depends, because the way they did it for Amsterdam is you can choose how many days you want to pay for. You can also choose to have like a meal included, because they did like, I think, like a lunch or a dinner thing for everyone as well if you wanted. So they had like a bunch of options, and I think that's generally what pays for the bulk of everything.
Oh, that's cool.
So I only did one day on the only conference I went to, because I was like, you know, social anxiety mode. I'm not particularly known in this group. Like, what are these people like? Will I actually enjoy it? And yeah, it was cool. You know, it was a lot better than I kind of expected. So it's definitely worth it. And also, it will give you one thing I always said right from the beginning, like when we did this podcast, is it will give you an interesting sense of perspective when you meet people that are just like from the Blender community there, because like you have something to talk about all the time. They should know who you are as well. Like, I wasn't even big back then, and I still had someone recognize and ask for a photo and stuff. And it's one of those really cool examples of like, hey, this is an actual physical way that your work is impacting the world, like actually impacting people. So that's really, really cool. So I'd love all of you to have that.
yeah.
I'm still pretty invisible.
I just want to
Only people who watch this podcast know.
I think you'll be
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
surprised.
Only
You'll be
the
surprised.
OGs.
No, I think they would link your face to it though, because you don't put your face on your channel, right?
Yeah.
I haven't yet. I think when I hit 100,000, I will.
Maybe you're just like that nobody knows, but then you start talking, and people are like, "That voice, I know that
Yeah.
voice."
Yes.
Is that
Yes,
Kev?
that's
Yeah, I
the
think-
man.
We make a joke.
I think you're right. You're definitely right. The second I make a joke, it's like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
And also, it's a chance to meet the other Blender creators as well. Like when me and
I would love to.
when me and Charan jumped into Ian Hubert's voice call a few months back when he
Yeah.
was in there, I said to him, look, I was gonna say hi, but you were so like preoccupied with people, and I saw like the one opportunity I saw you standing alone. I was like, I'm gonna give you that moment. I'm gonna give you a break. I guess I could say hi another time. So I'll need to catch up on that.
Yeah. Ian is really
Yeah,
sweet.
he seems like a cool guy, man.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
he
that'd be
really
fun.
is.
But so many in this community are so cool. It's so chill. That's what's so great about it. It's not necessarily the software, which is really fun. It's a great piece of software, but the community is awesome.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
All right.
Arturo is showing us something.
Yeah, let's have a look at Arturo's graph. So this is the changing
Cool.
interest.
It's not my graph. It's not my graph. It's just a graph that happens to be behind me.
Yes. Do you want to
I'm
run us
looking at
through it,
this.
Arturo?
Well, yeah. So this was Google Trends based on Blender and a comparison with the other software. And I just thought it was interesting because a lot of the people in the comments throughout this thread, which you can find if you happen to find whoever posted it, which is somewhere over here. I can't really see my own screen right now. Were shocked, flabbergasted, so to speak, at the fact that Blender would be doing better in terms of Google Trends than some of the other softwares. And I just, obviously I'm biased, but I just couldn't share the shock. I think it just makes sense that people would want to gravitate towards something that's a little bit more inclusive, both in terms of community and in terms of price. So there was this
Yeah.
graph, and then someone made another graph that was specific to Autodesk Maya and Cinema 4D. And
Which
the way
which
that
color is Blender?
Blue.
Blue.
Blender in this graph, I can't quite see it. If
It's
I move.
It's blue,
blue
it's blue.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
I don't
right
think I can
behind my camera.
I don't know if I can maximize your. Oh, I can maximize.
Oh yeah,
your
just click on
thing.
him.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
click on his beautiful face.
on him.
Yeah.
Hey, look at
Beautiful.
me.
Excellent.
I'm on Kev's
Oh, look at that.
screen. If I
You're
move this,
huge
can
on my
y'all
screen.
still see me properly? There we go. So yeah, I was just a little bit. I mean, I shared this with Curtis the other day, but obviously proud, keep it going. And one of the things that I thought was just me, and part of the reason why I brought this up is because on Twitter, you can see this. I won't pull it up here just in case there's something bizarre trending, but you can see the trending page on the right hand side of the mobile interface. And obviously, if you use it on, the desktop interface, and if you use it on mobile, it's somewhere else. But Blender has been trending pretty much nonstop for the past 2 months, I would say. And it could be that it's just
Yeah.
obviously because a lot of the people that I follow are what's it called, Blender related, but some of the numbers that come underneath, obviously all of these analytics and stuff, I won't keep prefacing this, but the idea is it's like 37,000 tweets a day for Blender every day that it says that it's trending. That's a significant amount. That's like a non-zero amount.
37,000 tweets.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
A day.
That's huge.
That's kind of
So-
mad.
Yeah,
I mean,
if
You mean the hashtag
if you-
B3D, right?
Just Blender, just the word Blender. I mean, so it could be, you know, that people are really excited about Vitamix and other stuff like
could
that.
be.
Sure.
Could be.
Vitamix is
but-
awesome, man. I bought one of those. It's the coolest. Oh man, get one if you. They're
It-
like a tank
It
of
really
a blender.
is.
Oh,
The,
you can
the other
make
day,
everything
I
with
was.
You can make
I
soup
think I
with it,
mentioned-
and it'll heat it up.
You can make anything with them. I have a
Anything.
NutriBullet, which I got when I got my wisdom teeth removed because I knew I was going to be drinking a lot of liquids. And the other day we were making something, and I was telling Ellie, I was like, "Hey, I can't find the thing that makes smoothies with, the smoothie machine." And Ellie goes, "The blender."
The blender.
Oh my god! I just can't. That word doesn't mean the same thing for
Exactly.
me anymore.
Yeah.
So
I know
you
it doesn't
was-
for me either. I know Blender is
just
like
very
it's 3D now, synonymous
God.
with 3D. Even though the Vitamix or
is.
Vitamix is phenomenal. But if you look at this chart that I'm looking at here, so you see Blender is against 3D Studio Max, against SketchUp, and against Revit. Revit is a. I mean, that's a very niche
Yeah.
software. So that doesn't really compete. SketchUp and 3ds Max. 3ds Max is, I mean, that's been like the staple of 3D for the last 25 years. Blender overtaking that is a huge thing. SketchUp was free, but it's not like fully featured like something like Blender or 3ds Max would be. So that's really telling that it overtakes Max.
Mm.
Yeah,
Arturo,
Because Max was like the #1 pirated software forever.
Can you
and
flick to
everyone
the
used it.
to the other one as well quickly?
The other one, yeah. Look at that.
This
one
one,
of the
Oh,
things
cinema-
that I
yeah, just have a quick look at that.
C4D. Wow.
So this one is a much like greater difference, and that's kind of crazy because you can see all of those other ones like really clumped together in the interest.
Yeah.
This is huge
2004 up
difference.
to, let's say, present day. Although, present day it says right there.
So Arturo
Yeah.
sent that to me, and you know it's interesting again. So Ben Houston, they wrote Blender versus 3ds Max versus Maya versus Cinema 4D, mind blowing. And I guess it's like from our perspective, like it's not really that mind blowing. I guess we're biased, but Blender's like the free software. Like it's so freely accessible. You know, and there's just content for it everywhere. I don't really think it is like that necessarily surprising, especially given the pandemic as well. You know, on the
Right.
most recent end
Yeah.
of the spectrum.
One thing I've noticed as well is that, and this is, there's a lot of groups right now that are kind of pushing and working towards building Web3, and we can unpack what that means, might not mean, doesn't mean. But the thing that is
was gonna bring
exciting to
that
me about that specifically is that a lot of these groups, and a lot of these groups are actually teaching people how to use Blender as a means of getting folks, cat tax, as a way of getting folks to kind of understand what it's like to create assets for a video game, create assets for a website, host them on a website. Like, what is a GLB? All of these things that to me now is a little bit more my everyday, because I've been doing it for since like late 2019 now. But for people who are kind of just coming into both the internet and the space, I like that. I appreciate and like that the bar is kind of such now in these spaces that you will come into it and maybe you have an idea of what HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are, but we're also going to try to sprinkle in some Blender in there for you so that you can capacitate yourself to start like making stuff. I love that because it really is just like Legos. You know, it's like building with Legos, but digitally and kind of to some degree non-destructive. But rant over.
Yeah, talking about like those graphs, right? When I see Blender and Cinema 4D now, like I forgot to mention, like before, I think I have mentioned this before. Cinema 4D had like a new update, which basically looks like Blender. Like it literally looks like Blender. The whole interface is Blender, and people in the comments were like ripping off.
It was so weird.
It-
yeah.
I mean, like,
It,
I actually thought
yeah.
it's a Blender tutorial, and I clicked it, and I was like, "This is not Blender." And they said it's Cinema 4. I was like, "No way!"
Yeah, I thought it was a
It's
joke to start
actually
with.
Yeah,
I
so
did
did
too,
I,
but
and
then
it's not.
it's not. It's not. It's
It's real.
literally like it actually has like the same workspaces, the same icons, like literally the same icons on the side.
Don't you
Oh
don't you
God.
think it's such a weird twist of fate when other softwares are copying Blender for like UI advice, thinking
Yeah.
back to like the
Yeah.
2.7 and before, like
It was a
Uh,
nightmare.
Right
Yeah.
click.
Now
wanna
they're like,
pull up
"Oh,
an-
look what we invented."
an addendum
Yeah.
here. So I kept reading in the comments, and somebody said, "I don't want to like." This is still the Ben Houston person. I just want to be mindful of like people's, I guess, private stuff. But this is all on the internet anyway. So, but somebody was
Yeah.
saying to Ben here, be careful because the word blender might come up with other terms, and it seems that in the comments, other people were doing their own research. Which is great, and then coming up with kind of the same general idea. So it's not just like a one-time thing. In this case, Blender is the green here, and you can see the trend kind of grow, not just necessarily in that one graph. Basically, this is somebody else's graph showing that it's in French, obviously. But yeah, the interest for Maya 3D and then the comparisons here in Blender still kind of taken on over here in the green. I guess you can't see my cursor, but if you look at the bottom right,
we can
where it's
actually.
listed by different countries. Oh, you can?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cool.
they use 3D as a qualifier for Blender, so it's not you're probably not getting Vitamix in there
Yeah.
or Ninja or Osterizer or any of that. Like it's the application, it's the
Yeah.
software.
Do you know what's more interesting in that for me is like how far 3D Studio has dropped, like compared to looking at the growth of of Blender on that graph,
Yeah.
which we can't see anymore. It like that's a really significant drop on the 3D Studio front. What happened
3D
there?
Studio is a Frankenstein software. It's Autodesk has Frankensteined all those software packages. Like all they do is they're the Borg. They just acquire and assimilate and not. I don't want to rag on them because there are still some really great people that are working there.
Yeah.
And they get caught up in that, and I do feel for them in the corporate model. Unless Autodesk takes care of them. At one time, they were rated one of the best companies to work for, but they've been Frankensteining these software packages. So when they took XSI and then they killed it, and then they brought it in and made it whatever Maya Mash or whatever.
Optimatch.
They ended up pissing off a lot of people, and I was a Maya user for a decade straight, every single day in Maya for 10 hours a day, and I loved it. But at some point, it really just started feeling like everything is disjointed. They're just acquiring things and just sticking them on like a greeble on a spaceship, and it doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel like part of the software.
Yeah.
Where Blender kind of does. Like there's still some stuff like add-ons that come in that are they feel alien to the software. Side Effects is really good about this. Like their
Yeah.
development team is so small that they all talk to each other. So they're all like every time they bring in something from a white paper, they make it part of the interface, so it feels completely fluid. Except for Solaris right now, but that'll change. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so when you're talking, Curtis, you're talking about 3D Studio Max kind of falling. I just wonder like how much their user base is kind of falling by the wayside to other pieces of software out there. I know Blur Studios was using that forever. And there were and I think Fuse Effects was a big 3D Studio Max house, but other than that, I know it's installed in a lot of places, but I don't know how much it's used anymore versus newer next-gen software that actually feels like next-gen software. And Blender,
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes, with a 2.8 update, feels like next-gen software. When I
does.
first
Yeah.
picked up Blender, even 2.7, and I was using Cycles, I was like, this feels new, because I was still on, I think at the time, I was still on Maya 2016, and it just didn't, it felt kludgy. So
That's,
I'm done.
Blender's probably got a lot going for it in the fact that it is constantly innovating, constantly changing. Humans like new shiny things. We're magpies when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yes.
But and
We are.
obviously studios hate that though. They hate Python API breaking. Suddenly all of your studio add-ons no longer work in the new version. That sort of thing is really crippling. So studios like steady change and non-breaking API changes, us
Yeah.
lot want all the new shiny thing, optics
Hmm.
update. I mean, I can't believe how much faster Cycles became just in that recent leap. It was like an 8 to 10 times improvement, and I'm sat there going, did I really need the shiny new graphics card? But now it's even 10. An order of
Yeah.
magnitude faster rendering is just extraordinary.
Talking
Yeah,
about Cycles. Oh, go on, Kev.
Goodbye.
No,
Yummy.
go on.
I was just gonna talk about Cycles again because now CG Matt is here. He might also give some insight about it. The nodes in Cycles. I mean, obviously, principal shader is good, but it's not enough. Like, we need a standard surface shader. I've been wanting this shader for a long time because each lobe, right? I mean, I told this before again, but I'm just mentioning it again here. Every surface has 3 lobes: the rough lobe, the specular lobe, and the clear coat lobe. And I mean, each lobe needs a different IOR. And the principal shader, there's one IOR, and it doesn't do nothing for metals or anything. It only works with transmission surfaces. Basically, it means it's broken. So you won't get realistic values how no matter how much you try, because the specular, I mean, like the IOR doesn't work. IOR is everything for realism, and you won't get it. So we need a standard surface shader where everything is like separate. Like, we have lobe controls. So I don't know, like it's really important. If we can have that, Blender is basically production ready. It's just the standard
Yeah,
surface that's required. Yeah.
You're right. It's a small use case scenario, but it does make a difference, especially if you're trying to really nail the look of certain things. It does unfortunately make a difference. As amazing as Cycles is, and as much as I love that principled shader and
Yeah.
Cycles implementation of it, it does make a difference to break it out.
I mean, like USD preview shader is basically Cycles principal shader because it is based on the Disney principal shader, which was on 2012. So it's outdated now. So then came the standard surface shader, which I think, like, let me just say that Renderman, Arnold, Redshift, and V-Ray uses standard surface shaders. It's the same shader, but their own version of it. So we really need one for Cycles. If we get one for Cycles, then I'm the most happiest person on this planet. I think with the power of the procedural workflows plus the standard surface, we can go a long way.
Material X seems to be moving in that direction.
Yes,
so hopefully, go on.
Material X is OSL based, right? So OSL is CPU based. So we won't get GPU support until Blender supports OSL GPU.
Yeah, it's coming, but it's not there.
Yeah, it's not there yet.
At the time of this discussion, yeah.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
I have a new
We don't want
segment
comments
idea.
20 years from now saying that we have it right now. So yeah, please just mentioning it out there.
Hotchira.
I know.
I have a new segment idea. It's called, I think CG dropped a couple of curses in there. So new shit that I like on Twitter that I saw that is from Blender, name and patent pending. So
you guys.
I opened up a bunch of stuff here that I've seen over the past couple of days that I liked, and we're just going to talk about it. And so we can keep it Blender focused. I would love to say everybody's name, but I feel like 1, I will either butcher it, or 2, I might get into the trouble where somebody will be named something like Super Pink Furry 51969, and then I won't want to read that out loud. So I'll just do my best to stay outside of the way of the name of the person who posted this. None of these happen to be my own work. So we're just going to take a dive. Have you guys seen this? Because this is pretty effing crazy. It's Blender 3.1 on the Stream Deck. Sorry, not Stream Deck.
Steam Deck,
God.
Yeah, I saw that one. That's really cool.
It's like, what?
What the hell?
Like, I needed more reason to get one.
I had no idea this is possible. I mean, I've seen people using on phones, right? Like on.
Yeah. Well, CG, who's here, ran Blender on a Game Boy SP. And it totally was not.
Yes.
Totally was not VFX.
It's insane.
I think he's trying to come back. But in the meantime, we'll go to the next
running in Linux as well has got to help with the performance.
Yeah.
Is that on Linux? Okay.
Yeah.
Linux.
This one was just nuts.
So many words today.
Oh my god.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I love that.
So sorry, what
That's
film
so pretty.
This is someone. It's called Virtual Evolution, someone's work
Translate.
within, like, done in Blender. It seems like I'll hit translate. Car chase made with yesterday's virtual evolution. It's on the B3D, so that's kind of how these are ending up.
A sake
I
bottle.
love that. Yeah, I
Sake
love
bottle,
that.
yeah.
A lot
Fantastic.
of detail in there. Love it.
I like sake.
This was dope.
Oh yes.
Oh
I've
no,
seen
I'm
this.
sorry. I don't know if you can hear that music. There we go.
No, we can't hear it
Probably
because.
shouldn't.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
That's
Oh
copyright.
my god, this
Yeah.
this gives
You-
me anxiety.
Oh wow.
That gives me a rush.
Grab it, grab it.
No,
Go on, you
I
can
can't
do
jump.
it.
I can't jump out of a plane now. I have a family.
Yes, good point. Yeah, I love that though. I love the
Already-
style, low poly.
Jumping
gorgeous.
out of planes.
I really like the camera animation. I mean, it's not camera animation. I think it's just Makabuchi.
Oh
There's
god.
This
another one
Ooh, that's
here.
cool.
Yeah, this is like
name up there. Yeah, so
his work
apparently
is
this
awesome.
Scene and tutorial. It looks really good.
It's lovely to
looks
see
so
2D
good.
work
This-
as well, especially with how much grease pencils come along in the last few
Yeah.
years.
True.
Seriously. Seriously. I mean, this,
Yeah, grease
and
pencils,
also the
like-
framing, everything, the composition, like adding stuff in the different grounds just adds a lot.
I mean, like Makabuchi is the master of painting, painterly style stuff. So obviously, he is using grease pencil to the core. Like, I mean, yeah,
That's really
nuts.
good.
yeah.
This was not Blender related, but it was hilarious. This is footage from the
Okay.
latest Splinter Cell.
Oh, I miss the Splinter
Okay.
Cell
Okay.
games.
Okay, let's see. Ooh,
Love it.
What?
Pshoo.
Amazing.
yes, again, please. Oh yes.
The internet and cat videos. Okay, back to being on topic. My Blender journey be like,
That library.
Hell yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yes.
There's so much just digital dust. People collect stuff. It's cool.
Meme review. Cool.
This was gorgeous.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
Oh
that
yeah,
is-
Jesse's
yeah,
I'm sure
work
you've
is
seen
like,
it.
oh
I'm
god.
sure you've seen it, but
That's
yeah,
really pretty.
so good.
Yeah, that
I mean,
guy's
can you
really
believe
good.
it's all geometry nodes, like even the tree, the whole grass animation?
I have a hard time
Holy
buying that, but anything's possible. Anything's possible.
He's been
Yeah.
pushing limits. I
beautiful.
mean, like limits as in
Seriously.
like to the next level, and also makes pretty imagery.
This wasp nest, like, hello, what? It looks so
Oh, wow.
good.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's cool.
they've been
Nice.
doing a lot of cool stuff with the dual mesh node, I believe.
Oh wow.
Because I've seen them post quite a few things on their Twitter. That's pretty nice.
When I look at this
This
stuff,
was
I actually
beautiful
think
too.
about shader nodes before, but now it's all geometry nodes.
Oh, Hans Chu. Oh, his
Oh, for
November
sure.
entries in previous years were absolutely brilliant.
I mean, he's like he studies optics for his like
I
in
believe
his
it.
bachelor's. Yeah, so
Nice.
he mostly
Yeah,
focus
studying-
on he mostly focus on light calculation stuff, like something like caustics, like colorimetry, all this stuff. Like it's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
And his vector
Nice.
displacement stuff is like next level. I think he's the best out there.
Wait, who's this
Yes,
guy?
Ben.
Who's this guy? B.
I don't know. We should get him
BM?
on here.
Ugh.
Yeah, we should probably.
Yeah, it's some
Just
mediocre stuff.
gorgeous.
I
I
love
have actually when I was in Austin
No, I'm just
recently
kidding.
for a gig with Ellie, and we were staying with friends of mine who live really close to the F1 track there in Austin. So I had to send them
Ooh.
this, and they're like, "What? Somebody made this in Blender? That's crazy."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
I think
wild.
he basically made it in like 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, I was
Like,
going to say,
he does that.
probably with Ben, it'll be about 5-10 minutes.
He just has this affinity with like visuals. Like
Yeah.
He does.
Love
He's
him.
very good. He has a very good eye.
Sure.
And this, I want to make stuff like this.
Oh,
Like, just
Alex, yeah.
What?
He
This is so good. Look at that. Like,
I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm looking at. It's amazing.
I actually got to know Alex
So
from
dope.
his Medium post on fractals for the first time. And then I DM'd him regarding how can I basically make this in shader nodes and stuff. He basically
could
gave
do
me
so
really
many
good
more,
insight on
but-
stuff. Yeah.
I think that's a reasonable segment.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty
we
nice.
should do
shit
this
I found in
often,
Blender.
Yeah,
I think-
that's we should do that more. That's great. That's a good idea. Solid.
On Twitter. You know what we
solid.
should do is go through the enormous backlog of art review posts that we have on
Oh,
the
yeah.
BlenderNest
Oh my
server.
gosh.
Mm.
Oh,
Sorry,
yes.
Yeah.
but
Oh, God,
life's
yeah.
gotten busy. We'll get there.
Oopsie.
There's currently a challenge though. If you want to take part in it, it's called what is the challenge? Resistance. And
Yeah.
it's over on the BlenderNest channel. Link will be in the description if you want to participate. Go ahead and do that, and then keep an eye out for the art reviews, which are coming back. We're back, baby. We're going. We're hitting it. Going
Yeah.
strong. I don't have a zoom lens on this camera, so I'll just.
Ooh, I like that.
There you go.
The challenge should be active unless we leave it like a month again with a BlenderNest backlog of episodes.
Yeah.
I what was it last week or the week before? I was like, right, I've got to do it. I sat down with all of the recordings and got them all cleaned up and put up. I think that was like one of the most productive weeks I've ever had. I put out like 5 or 6 videos across like every channel. I was like,
Wow.
I made a couple
Man, I
of
wish I could do that.
it did something to my brain, I think. I had a couple of notes from like earlier on in the podcast I just wanted to go over. So Michael mentioned about, studios being afraid of Blender's fast development, and I just wanted to throw in that's why they brought out the LTS versions, I guess, like post 2.8.
Yeah.
And they were like,
Yeah, definitely.
they were like, we're aware that people want to use like stable builds, so this is how we're going to change the release format. I thought that was a pretty cool idea. Realistically, it doesn't really change much or anything. It's just a point of safety for studios to latch onto. Like, oh yes, that's our version. That makes us feel safe. That number LTS, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And also going back to those graphs, I think one thing that's really taken people back is just the pace of Blender development and the amount of stuff that gets added. Because in my recent video when I was doing the 3.1 breakdown, because I do it for every major version, we take a look through the web page of all the new features. I always say in those videos, like, wow, like, isn't it just so surprising how much we're given for a free piece of software? And even just the effort they put into making those pages, because they've got like comparison sliders, you can download all the blend files, they've got GIFs and everything, and you're like, you don't see this with like the highest budget softwares. And when you have a look at like their update videos, I mean, like when 3D Studio or Maya do it, and it's always a bit lackluster and disappointing. And I think that's something people never really expect by comparison. Just like the sheer amount of stuff that you can make using, well, I will say like a free project management kind of layout, but Blender's quite complex, isn't it, with its funding system? But it's so well organized, and I think it's just like, it's really impressed people, and rightly so. So yeah,
It's incredible. I mean, I'm blown away. Yeah.
I think Switches
was
wants to say something.
Was that Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom, you're on mute.
Wait, someone send him a
You're
Starlink.
muted.
Someone send him a Starlink. We can get him up and running. Thank you, Michael. I see you laughing over there.
It took a moment. It
Oh,
had to
no.
happen.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'll admit that.
I wanted to
That's
check
New
one. I
Jersey.
just didn't know if it's too soon.
that's New Jersey.
Anyway, can we talk about Arcane,
Yes, let's talk about
Please.
Arcane.
please?
I've not seen it yet.
Oh,
You have
oh
to.
God.
I finally forced Charan to watch it.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
he
So
did.
good.
And Charan, what do you think?
It's actually like I really don't like anime style stuff, but I didn't really like. I mean, I do know like there are some anime sort of animations. I loved it
Nailed
first
it.
of all. I think my favorite animated film or series was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I think it is now the second place. Arcane is number 1 for me now. I don't know. It's too beautiful.
It
It's
is.
very
Like
smart.
every frame of the thing is
Yes,
dynamic.
High on my list. It's the
It's
next
like
thing I gotta watch.
so painterly, and I love it so much. It's just colors. It just blasts my head.
Watching the first episode with Charan, just like 5 minutes in, he was like, "Oh my god, it's just like artwork." I was like, "Yeah, we've only just started. We got like 9
I
episodes."
never skipped. I
Yeah.
never skipped the intros at all in the whole
Yeah.
thing because I love
Same.
the song. I mean, I
Ellie
love
and
the
I sat
song because
down.
it's go on.
And when Ellie and I sat down to watch it, it was the same thing. Like 5 minutes in, we're like, "Oh, we're gonna have to rewatch this." Look,
Exactly.
we're not even finished. We're 5 minutes in. It's like, I'm gonna rewatch this, and we did.
There are some places where I'm just confused if it's 2D or 3D.
Yeah, that's what I was
I'm
saying.
like-
That's what I was trying to say. I was like, you're watching it and you're like, how did they really do that? A lot of it's like
Yeah.
they've done so much with the facial stuff And I think some of it's similar to Spider-Verse in the way that, like, lines are drawn adaptively, like as like the face
Yeah.
changes, stuff like that.
Yeah, the wrinkles and stuff.
And that's really cool. But the one thing that really caught my attention, which I mentioned to Ben and other people as well, is that the physical elements of the face, like when people cry, when there's like blood moving and that, it's like I can't really tell if that's 2D or 3D, and that, like, so it animates, and it's like that's really impressive. Like combining that with everything, it's like a living piece of artwork. Like it's a really smart system, and I'm like, yeah, love that.
First of all, I hate League of
gorgeous.
Legends, but I love Arcane, you know?
Yeah, same.
What
Oh, yeah.
what studio is producing that?
Fortiche.
Right.
Riot
anyone know?
Games.
Fortiche. It's a
Fortiche.
French studio. Yeah,
Right.
they've actually been working with Riot Games,
Riot
making
Games, yeah.
animatics and videos for the characters for about 10 years now, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
So
okay. So
it's also really cool that they have this background history with the characters and further develop them. Got accepted for it got 9 of the Annie Awards that it
Oh,
was
yeah.
wow.
what's the word when they tell you they're going to give you an award? I forgot. Drum roll.
Yeah,
nominations.
Nomination.
Nominations, thank
Yeah.
you.
Nominations, yeah.
Sold to Kevin. Yeah, nominated for 9 awards, got all 9, and then season
like,
2
wow.
is under production. So isn't that
Oh.
I mean,
Here's
it's
another thing as well.
insanely good.
I told my brother to watch it today, and like I brought out like the bombshell thing, 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
I'm not surprised.
100%.
I'm not surprised.
That usually never happens
Yep.
ever. There's always like
Yeah.
99%.
It is that
because there's
good,
one,
like,
there's
I
that
mean-
one troll. Yeah.
Yeah,
just love it.
I'm
so
about
Wow.
to go.
it's
Thumb
100%
down.
on the tomato meter one, and it's 90.
Oh my god, it is.
Yeah, and it's 90
Yeah.
something for the user score. So 100 for like the official
Wow.
for the critic, 90 for user, 90 something.
It's still
4,745 ratings.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's my
So-
next thing. I have to get the TV because I only have one TV
Oh,
right
yeah.
now. I grew up with like TVs in every room, and when I became an adult, I'm like, nope, I'm gonna have one TV, and that's it. And
Brave man with kids.
yeah,
Chris-
I know.
Did he make something cool again?
Yeah, I said I wouldn't, but I just couldn't pass it up.
Yeah, obviously. The skin, holy shit.
Again?
Wow,
Yeah.
God, check that out.
Just
It's
wait
Cycles.
for it. Like compression is
What?
screwing it all up, but
I can. Oh my god, the wrinkles, dude.
What?
dude,
Oh shit.
Who is this?
This is Chris Jones, the best person who makes photorealistic characters in Blender.
Oh, the eyes,
And-
man.
yeah,
That's-
his eyes are like all is perfect.
That's insane.
Yeah, look at that. He always does this really cool stuff with music and his visuals.
the ending.
It's
He
so
always
good.
does, he always
Yeah,
does something
so,
a little
so
bit
good.
weird, like in some of these videos.
That was
Yeah,
awesome.
there's always something weird.
Yeah.
And he adds this really squishy sounds, you know?
yeah.
And it kind of creeps me out a lot, but I love it so much at the same time. Very unsatisfyingly unsatisfying stuff. Yeah, he's great. He's awesome. I
Alright.
mean, he basically sold his rig for $117 and people bought it.
He sold
a
his what?
blended file. His
Oh,
human
really?
rig. Yeah,
Oh wow.
people like
Wow,
it's on
yeah,
Gumroad. Yeah, it's too good. Chris Jones is like.
Well,
You should see the stuff he made 4 years ago when it was like 2.97 stage. It's still impressive. Like, I mean, we can't pull this out in like now if you even try it.
Mm.
He's just a master. It's not the software. It's just him.
yeah.
So yeah, like look at this. This is the best one.
Oh, I have seen this. Yeah, when I started 3D, I loved doing human faces, and at some point it just became so, I don't know. It was just so difficult to overcome that uncanny valley. Wow, that's real. Yeah, I have
that's-
seen
it's
this.
so good.
Super impressive.
I mean, like,
Like, stop it, Chris.
Yeah,
Enough.
that's really good.
You can retire. This is nailed
I
it.
mean, like, I really want to know how it looks when he's actually speaking a dialogue. Because generally facial animations always look off in movies, and I just want to
Yeah.
know his take on it. Because if he can pull it off, I think he can. Oh yeah, god damn it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yes. Can you hear the sounds? I mean, there is
No,
sounds as
thank,
well.
no.
Oh, you should hear this
I don't-
sound.
I don't
Oh my
wanna hear it.
god. You wanna hear it, trust me.
Wow.
The rigging,
that's so
the
amazing.
rigging, the materials, just even just the veins.
Can you see
That's
when this
really
was
inspiring.
posted again? Like, I mean,
Yes. June
2021.
8th, 2021.
yeah, we'll go down, just scroll. We can just watch this for a while.
Got
I could,
everything.
yeah, I could keep
muscle.
scrolling here. We'd find a bunch of cool stuff, but the video will probably get marked as adult content or something.
Nah, there's
Oh, yeah.
nothing as such in this. Like, look at that. Yeah,
Yeah,
all these
that's
things
really-
would look really good with music. Trust me.
Oh, it's too
Oh.
impressive.
I know.
Yeah, that's really good.
This
Very
is
squishy.
meant to inspire, not overwhelm. So if you're looking at this going, oh, crikey, I'm not going to be able to make stuff like that. You don't have to. Chris has already got us. Chris
Yeah.
is making the
Yeah.
stuff. Just make what you
Yeah.
make and keep learning what you're learning and keep at it. Yeah, Arturo, you're doing great, Arturo. Just keep going, Arturo.
Love it. This whole thing is just like a therapy time capsule for ourselves in the future.
Yeah.
It is.
Hey, Kurt, what's
Like,
up?
don't compare yourself to that. Honestly, just don't.
I
Like,
really wanna
That guy's been
something.
studying this for years.
Yeah, he's only doing facial animations and mostly rigging related stuff for the past 10 years. So he's a master in it. Like,
Yeah, that's a decade. Like,
can you imagine
can't
doing
compare
the
yourself to
same
that.
thing for a decade? And if you
Yeah.
can, then maybe, yeah, you can be as aggressive, maybe even better than him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just invest 10 years, that's all.
And then you got to realize too how much work goes into making that look that good. It's
Yeah.
not something you do. It's not something you do in a couple of hours in Blender. Like, that's like,
I can't even
I mean,
Like,
man.
That kind of
That's years
came up
of
earlier when we were
experience.
talking. When we were talking about people, what was it, additions to the Blender and just having focuses on UV texturing versus them focusing on geometry nodes. In this, it's like I love reading the comments when people are posting, "Why can't you just add blah blah blah?" Because usually those
Yeah.
people probably don't have a background in CS or computer science, have never programmed or even looked at what it might take to do something like that. It's not simple. It's something that takes hours of work, dedication, peer review in some cases. It's not something that just happens overnight. That's why we can't just add a make something button.
Yeah.
But you know,
Exactly.
that's people are just people, I guess.
yeah. Talking about like softwares and everything, again, coming to Houdini, I think, like, I just sent like a hate comment on one of the Houdini video recently, like 2 days ago.
Yeah. Well, okay, to clarify, you didn't send the hate comment. You sent us a snapshot of it. It's not like you were
Yeah,
writing the
snapshot.
hate comment.
Oh, no. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you
Glad we cleared
for
that.
that clarification.
Yeah.
I
because
sent a
you
hate
are not
comment. Oh god,
interested.
yeah, sorry. I sent a
Like,
screenshot
shared.
of a hate comment. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not the hater.
I'm not the. Oh my god, I'm not the hater. I'm sorry, guys. You guys think about it. Anyway,
That's just that person who I'm not gonna name has shown up on my channel as well. Always bashing the Blender community, saying how Houdini is king, and it's just like, just whatever his issue or her issue. I have no idea who this person is. It's just, it's like it's just being a troll. That's all.
yeah. I mean,
There's
like,
nothing behind
there
it
are
other
people.
than being a troll.
I mean, I've seen people talking about how one software is better than the other. Yeah, like obviously it is better than, like, how can you compare simulations in Houdini with any other software? Like, there's no way. But you can compare the modeling tools in Houdini with Blender. Can you? You can't even compare. Blender is awesome for modeling and everything. You can't
Yeah.
texture in Houdini. Blender has procedural shading and everything. So yeah.
Hell
you
yeah.
can, but you have to go into cops and do this whole rigmarole. It's not as simple as it is in Blender.
Yeah, it is not as simple, but I'm just saying, like, it's just better because Blender is better here, right? Blender is better in everything except simulations, which could be better soon when we get solvers too. Blender is not trying to be Houdini. Blender is trying to find its own path.
I mean, we've
That's
seen
it.
some of the things that can happen in Blender with things like when Flip Fluids came on the scene. They
Yeah.
had their own solver, and I believe some of that, if not all of it, has been integrated into Blender.
Yeah,
Yes.
like an add-on,
The
right?
actual Flip Fluid solver. So it just put that on the GPU, please. and that would speed things up massively. That's the sort of thing that once it is done, it'd be like Cycles all over again. Suddenly, instead of it taking 10 hours to render out that simulation, it might only take an hour. Now Blender becomes viable for larger scale simulations, not just the good old water in a cup swirling around.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
a ball in the middle of a cube, and
Yeah.
the cube's the domain, and water falls on. It's like,
yeah,
I've seen these before.
water
Yeah.
pouring into a cube and watching it just splash against the
Yeah.
edges.
Yeah, like, I mean,
That's,
Yeah.
that's every single
Don't
one.
get me wrong. When you first do that, it's a phenomenal feeling. You're like, I
Yeah.
did a thing, and then you're like,
Yeah.
it took 10 hours, and my computer smells like it's burning.
Yeah,
There's-
exactly.
There's something I want to see, which is I don't know what the actual term for it is, but like molecular material simulations, and I feel like that should be in Blender, like actually being able to define the properties for an object and have it like tear apart, and doing things like that without having to use like kind of cheap hacks like the cell fracture add-on, which doesn't really take into consideration natural materials. And I was speaking to a patron by email the other day, really clever person, really nice person as well, and they I sent them like a video that I remember watching from way back in the day, the game Star Wars Force Unleashed, where you're like playing as like Darth Vader's like apprentice or something. Star Killer, I think the name is. But there was a really important point. It's like 15 years ago. I don't know how long ago it was. But anyway,
in the galaxy far, far away.
That game was actually quite revolutionary in a couple of ways. They had an advanced AI system and an advanced materials physics simulation system. So the AI system will work in a way where, like, if you were grabbing onto stormtroopers and they were floating around and you moved them like near to ledges, they would try and grab on for their life and stuff and try and like react like that. And then the material system was really cool because, like, if you like pushed wood, it would like break apart like plywood, and you would see it bend, and it would react differently to other materials. So the metal would like kind of bend in a realistic way. And I'm like, this was way back when, like on old consoles in real time. Like, can we not have a system at least just a bit like that in the modern day for something that's baked? So
yeah. It just comes down to their priorities and what they want to focus on.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Welcome back, Tom.
Yeah, welcome back.
Are you in LA yet?
Are you there yet? The aliens have
You
got
sound like Neo when he got sucked into the phone.
Myself.
I think if he turns off the video.
Yeah, maybe if you try turning off the video, might clear up some of the upload bandwidth.
Now unmute. There you
modern tech.
Okay, is that any better?
It's a bit.
Good.
It's better.
go.
Okay.
Way better.
I think this. Wait, I just gotta know. Smoke?
Spoke.
On the water?
No, smoke, dude. You gotta say
Fire
fire when
and
you hear the word smoke. Smoke.
Fire.
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 It's pretty fucking bad. That's a 1 second to 2 second delay.
Oh, right. Okay.
We'll make it work to make camp. And it's getting glitchy.
Oh, are you about to make camp? Did you say?
Yeah.
Fire?
Yeah, he's
Oh.
he's in Western New Jersey. There's spotty cell coverage where he's at right now.
Yeah. I was trying to convince him yesterday in the chat, like, just to give someone his location when he camps for the night alone. And did you see that website I linked in, whatfreewords.com? Has anyone else seen
Oh
that?
yeah.
Oh yeah, I love
Wait.
that.
Love that. It's fantastic. Such a brilliant idea. Like every free square meter square like on the planet has a free word combination.
Combination, yeah.
Oh wow.
And it's so much
I got
easier.
ads on it. I mean, I got ads on it, but I just thought that's not possible. I thought it was fake, okay? Because I got ads on my YouTube videos. Like, I mean,
Oh, well, what, pointing
would
to
believe-
it?
yeah, I mean, like what 3 words, and I was like, why didn't Google first implement this? And some random website is implementing it. I was like, I don't know.
It's clever.
thought
It's a
it's
really
fake,
good
but-
idea because it's so
Yeah,
much
it's
easier to
really-
remember. You can say it over the phone. You can't you can
Yeah.
say longitude and latitude coordinates over the phone, but I mean,
Yeah,
come on,
exactly.
really? Like
4, 5, 1,
Yeah.
6, 9, 10. What?
It'd be like
Oh.
intrepid chameleon potato, and that's an actual square like on the
Yeah.
world somewhere.
But can
I
you
have
imagine how many?
heard I don't know whether it's been implemented or not, but it'd be a godsend for emergency services as well.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's
would.
much easier to go and say 3 words than try and describe where you are. when you live, if you have an accident and you're local to where you are, great. You can probably tell someone which road you're on, and you're half a mile from the post office. But if you're somewhere where you don't know, and they say, I mean, I've had it when it was quite a few years ago. Someone had an accident. I called up and they were like, "Can you tell me where you are?" I haven't a clue. How can I give this information? And of course, these days you could potentially use something like "what 3 words," and it gives someone the means to get to you.
Yeah.
I mean, is it accurate?
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Location
My
services.
house has like 6 different names. I can tell you the living room and the. It's not a particularly big house, but the living room and the my office are 2 different squares completely.
Yeah, I had a look at the new house.
Say the words.
Yeah, no, because we'll dox ourselves.
yeah. Get swatted.
I had a look at our new house location, and there's quite a few squares there, and I was like trying to pick the one with the coolest free word combination. I'd be like, that's the one.
What if you have an accident further away?
Yeah,
I want to know what mine are, but let's see. I've been chatting with CG maybe once every like 3 days, so I guess we'll find out with 3 days delay if for some reason I no longer hear from him.
Yeah,
but
I feel like someone has to keep tabs on him. Speaking of, on a bit more of a serious note, or do you want to finish something off before I go to a more serious topic?
I was gonna say, if you're watching this back, Tom, I'm gonna go because I'll be in Boston next week. I'll go to Felipe's and I'll keep a burrito in my backpack for next time I see you. So,
hell yeah, dude,
that'll be great.
Yeah, I was gonna say on in terms of keeping tabs on people for like safety and stuff, I checked in with CG Bird Julia, the Ukrainian YouTuber. She's still in Ukraine. She's
oh my god,
she's somewhere around the Kyiv region, but she says she's safe. So I hope it stays that way. But yeah, I checked in because I was like, do you mind letting me know like where you are, just so I can like keep an eye on stuff? And she was like, crazy stuff. But apparently she's got a bunch of friends who are in like the Russian controlled regions. I don't know. It's kind of sobering and concerning, but yeah.
Check up on your Ukrainian Russian friends. Yeah, there's a lot of Ukrainian and Russian and Belarusian artists in our community. So it's good if you're watching this and you haven't, do it. Been checking in with another Julia, who's also in our circles, who is in Western Ukraine at the moment. And it's like you said, sobering. Suddenly turns the conversation very serious and stern. But
it's
freedom is nothing to joke about or lose your life over fighting. So hopefully this kind of wraps up. Yeah,
hopefully soon. It is interesting because I didn't think like I would be too affected by it, but I mean I didn't really say it to her, but when I was writing to her, I was getting quite like worked up about it emotionally, because I was thinking, because like rolling back, I remember like watching her videos and stuff, and then mentioning her in a video, and then she got like really excited about it, and like it's on her Instagram stories, and she saved them to like her different things. So like I kind of feel bad that I left it like a while before checking in, but like it kind of built up, and I was like, no, I have to double check. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, check up on your friends.
I think
it's such a nightmare.
Well,
I should invite her to the BlenderNest probably.
I should do, actually I should. And we'll see.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll wait till everything's died down. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, probably.
Hopefully he'll run out of money, and that'll.
Or this could be a little minor distraction for her, I don't know.
Yeah.
Should invite everyone in the circle. Well, I guess at this point we're kind of entering the point of things that are probably not going to make it to the cut, but should invite everyone that's willing to jump on if they want to talk, and just give them the platform to talk.
I think what we were thinking
really like
about
taking a political stance over something that's not legit,
I think what we were thinking
but at
about
the same
doing, because do you remember when we set up the separate community Actually, I mean, if this is okay, I might leave this in the recording just for the sake of, again, like a sobering, like, I don't know. I just think it's nice having random conversations in there. We'll see. But anyway, when we made the new public community for the BlenderNest, we talked quite a lot about this, about what do we do with this server, how do we want to add new people, but we don't really want to disrupt the dynamic and, like, you know, the personal info and stuff. So maybe we could set up another server, which is just like, this is the free for all, where we can all just have convos and stuff, so that we don't disrupt this dynamic, but we keep like the potential there, and just anyone that wants to.
Well, sorry, I was gonna say I like that idea. I like protecting this space, and I think rather than setting up yet another server, we could just revitalize, reuse, rework the existing public server for that, because I don't see personally, I don't see a problem in having like a BlenderNest community conversation that's actually just a community conversation. We can keep it really tight, like who actually gets to go up and share video and stuff, but maybe we can do like a live like we're doing now, but just out in the open where people can actually like type questions into live chat or something.
Can you do videos in the stage channels now?
Not yet.
No.
Damn.
I know.
Come on, Discord.
But yeah,
no, I'm okay with that idea, because we can always like balance roles and channels and stuff as well. For
you have to like reorganize BlenderNest community server for sure. I mean, I think I'll be the perfect mod for it.
Charan, you sneaky fry. He doesn't even read the messages in our mod channel on my server. I have to ping him every time, take part in a conversation. And you know it. You know you're not great at it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said I'm the perfect mod. With quotations.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, I got quite busy with my own stuff lately, with the whole college and ODD.
Yeah, you're in a point in your life where you're making like the significant choices.
Big choices, yeah.
Like I can
actually like stop working for 1 week continuously just to focus on the decision itself.
I was gonna say I've told you I consider you like my best friend, right? Because I've lost all my local friends now. Like all my friends like international and Blender related and everything. I speak to Charan every day. But
nice.
When you came to me, like, as you really asked for my opinion about where I think you should go, like Canada or the UK, I was like, I'm biased, but I cannot make that choice for you. Like, even though I'm your friend, I was like,
even if you make the choice, I don't know if I'll take it, because by the end of the day, it's my life and I have to like make the correct choice.
I feel like at that point, and you were actually quite honest about it, you said that you probably already made up your mind, but I think you were wanting another excuse to actually say yes to that. Like, I think that's the point you're at.
I mean, at that point, like, okay, I'll tell you this, right? I have like really good friends in the Blender community, mostly in UK. I mean, when you think about Canada, there is no one, and I didn't have a chance to go to USA, so it's London or Canada. Canada has a lot of visual effects opportunities, and I might have a better life there.
Yeah.
But I might be alone. I don't like that.
Charan, I like
one perfect.
I just like the idea of like Pers and Kate watching this, going like, he just called us no one.
No, Pers and Kate are actually like 3,000 kilometers. Listen. Pers and Kate are actually 3,000 kilometers far away from Vancouver. So
that's fair.
They're on the other side. So it's basically like another country. So it's not even possible for us to meet. Even if I have to meet, I have to travel 22 hours. I don't think
Yeah, that's true.
That's like,
and in the UK, it's only
professionally too.
Yeah, it's only like a few hours max.
Yeah, it's like a few hours. And I'm actually like willing to travel every weekend to one of your places. And there's another friend who is coming along with me. So
if you can get to London, I'm there. I'm on it. And that's my turf. So,
yeah, exactly. I mean, so it's $69 to travel from Bournemouth to London. So it's perfect.
Nice.
It's not bad at all. Yeah, I think professionally too. Like Canada has a ton of visual effects, but they're not necessarily serving a domestic market. Whereas the BBC serves Hollywood. I mean, the visual effects companies in the UK serve both Hollywood and the BBC, and the BBC spends a ton of money on content, and they produce incredible shows.
Mm.
I know
Yeah.
because my wife watches half of them, and
Well,
like they're really good. And so there's quite an opportunity there for at least a massive domestic market versus, so they're not necessarily at the whim of film subsidies, whereas
Yeah.
I think Canada is more exposed to film subsidies right
By
now
the
than UK is.
Yeah, by the end of the day, I don't really want to like continue this job forever. Like, I really want to do it for a
Yeah,
few years and then do my own thing, like what Ian
sure.
Hibbert is doing, because I might have the experience by then, you know?
Oh,
Uh,
definitely.
yeah, that's the whole point of me trying to get into visual effects
Uh,
because it would actually help me. What happened?
Michael, do you see what?
He's
Never mind.
he's picking Michael's nose.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, so I mean, like by the end of the day, it's again like I know for a fact that I don't enjoy working the same job for a long time, but I do enjoy teaching it
Mhm.
because so I want to like focus most of my stuff learning the skills, working for a few years to get experience, production ready experience,
Yeah.
and then coming back to YouTube and sharing the knowledge I acquired.
If you
I'd
That's what I'm
probably
doing.
yeah.
if you wanted to do like a VFX job, there are so many in London, but they're all mostly focused around Soho. So when you come over, I can walk you around and show you kind of where they are, because that's
Yeah,
where like
sure.
every visual effects house has, for some reason, the headquarters in and around the Soho area. It's like they're just all congregated in one spot. I guess it's so big. I guess they work together a lot, and like well, there's a lot of offices there, and it's just But yeah, it's an interesting
Yeah.
kind of culture there.
I mean, one thing about me moving to like obviously Rebel is more than enough if I want to learn Houdini skills and if I want to become FX3D, as Kev know about this. But I'm actually coming for the contacts. Then I think I'll probably build proper contacts if I come to a university than doing it myself online. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are all my contacts. I mean, I met all of you online, obviously. Like, I mean, but still, like having the
Network is
professional
everything.
network, yeah, the professional
it's a
network
bit of
is,
both.
I mean,
It's good to
Ellie
have
and I,
both.
technically,
Ellie and I were no, well, we were just at South by Southwest, like I mentioned earlier, for a shoot, and it was so different to be obviously 2 years after this whole moronic Iris stuff started, to be in a space where people that are doing the same things that we're doing, film, 3D work, XR, AR, what have you, can just like congregate and be talking about these things. It's so different. No, not saying obviously that it's not enjoyable or that there's not benefits to being able to have these conversations online like we're having right now. Just having
yeah,
that in person is so different. And I think you'd get a lot out of being able to have that emotional and physical connection with people
yeah, sure.
outside of obviously what you've already built for yourself online.
Yeah, there's an energy when you're in person that you can't match
Mm-hmm.
online. It's a
Yeah.
real energy.
Mhm.
You
One thing
feel
I
it as
really
just
hope
a
for,
social creature we are.
one thing I really hope for is like actually becoming a visual effects professor in some big university, some, I don't know. It's like one of my biggest goals. I don't know. I
You
just had a dream that
you'll get
I might
you'll get paid nothing.
I mean, I don't really like, that's not why I'm
Been
doing that,
there.
right? Like, by the end of the day,
Yeah.
I really want to like mostly do on YouTube and Patreon. So, like crowdfunded projects and
Yeah,
stuff.
maybe you can get
I don't
that
know.
money. You can get the money the other way and still do that
The other
as like
ways,
your kind of
exactly.
aspiration.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Curtis, I think I have your pen.
I mean, I'm too ambitious at the moment. So,
Oh,
It's on your desk.
got it. It's slightly different.
No way.
It
How
got
did you do that?
it got transferred through the multiversal
magic.
void.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Magic.
god.
Yeah.
Just like magic.
Yeah.
Oh, the illusion. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, as I was saying, I'm too ambitious at the moment. I'm just dreaming because I have the opportunity of dreaming at the moment. So
Yes.
I'm
Just
just,
dream
never
before
a
life
bad thing.
crushes you.
We're so
Yeah.
freaking lucky, guys. Like, just again, going back to the whole situation going on. Look at us, kind
We
of
are lucky.
sitting up on the high horses with like the freedom of choice and having people
Yeah.
listen
Yeah,
to you. And like,
It's insane. It's insane how
Yeah.
how lucky we are.
Perspective.
yeah,
We can't lose that humbling sense of luck that we enjoy right now, because so many don't have that right now, and
Yeah.
we're cognizant
Yeah.
of it. So
For sure.
Yeah, I have waves of gratitude probably at least once a month. I usually go through like a planning stage once a month to just see where I am with my goals and what I want to achieve, and how long is it before I do my next YouTube video. Oh my word, it's now 3 months. What? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, whenever I sit down, I'm like, you've got to, if you've got a roof over your head, that's a tick.
Yeah.
it is.
You've got running water. That's a tick.
It
All
is.
of these little things. It can sound a bit throwaway sometimes. We really do live in a world of massive highs and really deep lows.
Yep.
And I think the whole situation in Europe has definitely sort of like really highlighted the fact that the lows are closer than you could even imagine beforehand. Kind of
They're
brought a
almost
whole
on your
new
doorstep.
reality to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I still get like a fair amount of imposter syndrome, and I even notice it while like I'm recording my videos. I recorded one yesterday. Whoops, sorry, I just closed the full screen. Don't want to show anything on my desktop. And yeah, when I was recording, I was thinking, is anyone actually going to listen to this? Like, I got like 40 minutes through the recording. I was like, no one's going to make it this far. People do, but like, there's this little ticking thing in your head. And then like,
Yeah.
in the worst moments, I'm sitting there, I'm like, what if the channel disappeared? Like, what if it just like, went low? Like, how would I do? Would I be alright? Like, what can I
Yeah.
survive off? What if everything disappeared? Would I still be okay? Well, I've got this house, I live with my parents, I've got a fair amount of money saved up. Like, so maybe how long would that last me? And it's like, you're running through all these calculations, and I'm like, well, realistically, at the end of the day, I'm okay. Because like, even if I had no money and nothing and no job and whatever, my parents aren't going to kick me out. Like, no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah,
Family,
exactly.
sticks together. And that's a baseline. I'm not going to die, right? So that's something to hold on to, unless, something else comes along, medical conditions, you never know. It's just, it's just how life
Yeah.
is.
You live in London, one of those buses.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Watch out
boy.
for the
What
night
about
bus,
them?
man.
It'll
The
be-
night bus is the
What about
worst.
It'll be the cyclist. It'll be a random cyclist. Just woof.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with the buses,
Oh,
Charan. Don't
boy.
worry. It's just a joke. It's just a joke.
No, it's
Oh
the,
my
the
god,
night
I'm
bus. You
going
wanna
to
watch out for that
London.
one, man.
I need to be safe.
That's fine. I'll take you on a bus. We'll
You'll be
go.
fine.
We'll go to the upper deck. We'll have a ride. It'll be fun.
Upper deck. Oh god. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
That's where that's where the fun happens.
I've now got
Especially
the
after
Amy
hours,
and
right?
Karen at the front of the bus. I can't do it all the way back there. Stretched out like that through London.
The fun, Charan, is walking
I'm
through the
fine.
bus while it's going. That's the fun bit.
No.
Oh
Or
yeah,
it suddenly
no.
stops and you suddenly end up moving forward a lot faster.
yeah. It's when you get on the bus and you want to go up to the top if it's a double decker one. So you start climbing up, but as you're climbing up the steps, they start driving. So you're kind of like holding on and you're like that, and then you keep
Oh,
walking.
don't worry
Yeah.
about that.
Just-
Don't
It's
worry
like a
about
roller
that.
coaster but with stakes.
Yes,
Just watch the beginning. Watch the beginning of The Prisoner of Azkaban on the night bus.
yes,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
exactly. It's exactly.
Oh
what
my
it's like.
god, yes. Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, brilliant.
Including the shrunken head, because they all have the shrunken head.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
cool.
yeah, man.
It's
There
funny
is,
you should mention imposter syndrome, Curtis, because we had a discussion on a live stream on Monday about it, and whenever I'm doing a new course, it just comes in waves, and then I sit there and I've got like 5 working prototypes in front of me. The code I'm writing, or the thing that I'm doing, or this, it's working. The evidence
Yeah.
is right in front of me.
Yeah.
There's no actual imposter syndrome here.
Yeah, you're like, it works. I did it.
I did a thing.
One thing
I did a thing.
which I can recommend to you guys, because this has helped a bit, is where at the end of my videos I like say, oh, the emoji for this video is like a fire emoji. Please like put it in the comments if you made it this far. And because like you look at the attention graph for your videos and it's like, oh, everyone's gone. Everyone's disappeared.
Yeah, it's like-
no one's
It's like,
watching.
shoo.
Whatever. But then I put the video out and then suddenly it's like fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. And you're like, Yay! People
Yeah,
stayed.
it's awesome.
And it's like because,
Everybody's just clicking to the end of the video. Oh, it's that emoji. Okay.
yeah, I know. I that crosses my
Yeah.
mind every time. I bet there's some people that go, "What's the emoji?" and they look for it because they want to get the heart.
Yeah.
But you know, most
Yeah.
people. But that really helps because there's no metric for showing like who really cared enough to like get that far.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's a good bit of audience participation, you know, and it's completely optional and it's win-win.
yeah.
They get you
But-
acknowledging them, and that they actually get to say thank you for the video by giving that to you.
It's also nice
One
feedback.
thing about YouTube, right?
Okay, you go. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing about YouTube audience is like, let's say you have 130K subscribers at the moment, Curtis. I don't know how many you have at the moment.
119. Thank you. You made me feel
Yeah,
inferior.
119.
I'm joking.
190. Okay, 190.
You don't have 130. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, so 119K. At least 1% of them are really watching it for you. At least 1%.
we can
of them.
hope it's 1%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least if we can hope it's
about
1%.
1%. Yeah.
It's just okay, Curtis Hall. Let's watch it. Let's stop everything else. Let's watch it. So yeah, I mean, if you think about it, the larger the audience, the more famous you get.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
mostly about you than the content that you make. So yeah.
I have kind of thought
In a
about
way,
that.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, if I just did something completely random, how many people stick around? I found that it's probably
Yeah.
about 3,000. I think.
Whoever subscribed to Studio.
Yeah. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to
Yes,
test that
it-
theory right now because yeah,
So it's true.
Yeah.
I've
That-
been very lucky with a few videos, so I'm not testing that.
The
I don't really watch Kev's videos for his content. I only watch for him because I really like his personality. So,
we're kind of anomalous because we know each other,
thanks.
so like we kind of
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
negate.
It's true.
like,
yeah.
We do.
Yeah, but what Charo just mentioned there, yeah, the Kurt Studio channel, that's intentionally just supposed to be only the people that care. And the really interesting
Yeah.
thing about that is that the view count compared to the sub count is like fantastic, especially
Yeah.
when compared to the main channel. Like, so that's really nice.
Yeah.
And, like the
Yeah.
goal is like I'm trying to build up that second channel slowly but purposefully, just to be the place where I can talk about anything I want and still get people to watch it. And like, because if that can do well, then everything in life is brilliant. Because like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
because you can do anything.
Yep.
So
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the same once I hit 100,000. That's my goal, and then I want to start a separate channel, and I might break out more of the structured Houdini stuff on there, or I don't know
Please.
yet, but yeah,
Please.
because I can't really do too much of the Houdini stuff because I have such a Blender centric audience that
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that's going to cross over or whatever.
you have to
So
balance
we'll
it.
see.
Like you can. I found it's
balance it.
perfectly fine doing like Blender and something in a video. You know, that's.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
actually like doing a breakdown of a video, like the Last Explorer scene that I made.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
I used a mix of both Houdini and Blender in it. So
Cool.
the rendering is mostly done in Blender, but few assets are built in Houdini and Megascans. So it's mostly 50-50, so I don't know how people will take it. So yeah, I'm just this is the first video, which is not only Blender in the channel for the first time. I'm quite excited.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
I
is that
think you're
published
quite
yet,
right
or is
there.
that you're working on it?
I'm working on it. It's just like, just a render breakdowns. Like it's not even me explaining, it's just like 1 minute of just the render, the breakdown, like the ambient occlusion, the
Got it.
passes.
hmm.
Yeah, with
Nice.
some nice music in the background. That's all.
Excellent.
just,
Michael, you were saying?
And
Oh, sorry. I asked the question. at the
Charan,
same time
shut
Michael
up.
did,
Charan,
so-
shut up. Michael.
No. I had asked you the question the same time Michael was talking, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, no. So like, I'm not orchestrating Charan right now.
Don't worry.
Okay, I'll shut up.
It's fine. It's
I will.
just the delay.
Yeah.
Like
It's just
it's
a
always
Yes, delay.
it's always a delay.
I'm getting this from my son. He's like,
You've been over
you've
it
been
now.
on for over an hour.
Go, Kev,
Oh,
go.
God, yes.
Rant.
Yeah,
go.
right. This he says.
Dad,
Dad,
I'm
you have.
lonely.
Ugh.
Yeah, me.
All right.
Okay.
This is a
He
guilt
wants me
trip. Kev,
It's a guilt trip.
you are officially fired from this episode of the podcast. I'm
Yes.
sending
Wonderful.
you away.
Thank you.
You got a
Yeah.
random letter.
Before you go, Kev, before you go, one last thing, okay?
Yeah,
As
yeah,
I was
sure.
saying, as I said before, like I don't really watch your stuff for your content. It's only because I like your personality. I was lying.
Oh, thanks. Oh.
Because I do love your personality, but the
Thank
content
you.
is a
Likewise.
I
bonus,
hate
right?
your content.
Yeah, the content is a bonus for me. That's if that makes sense.
Thanks.
Charan's
The
just
next
trying
video
to
should be really.
Charan's trying to offend everyone today. Pers, K,
No.
Kev.
No, I didn't even try to offend. It's like I thought it's a
Nothing in
compliment.
Canada
so-
for me.
Oh
Yeah.
God,
My
fine,
next,
guys.
my next video is gonna be pretty awesome. I'm kind of using. Yeah, you'll see. I'm kind of using Blender like I
I'm
would use
really
Clarisse.
excited.
It's kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Y'all-
yeah,
okay, fine.
this should
Fine.
be
You
pretty
should
cool.
go, Kev. Yeah.
Go,
you should
Kev.
go.
Be with your family.
Bye.
All right, guys. Have a
Right.
great week.
Yeah, you too.
See you
Stay
later.
safe.
Yeah.
Stay safe. That's the important thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Take care.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
They're grateful. I think I hit
Ooh,
a
big
good
squares.
stride. Yeah.
Sorry.
Look, it's us with my videos because I'm worried about. I don't want to have to. So I've tried to do different Instagram accounts. One for my photos, one for my video, one for my 3D work. It's a lot of work keeping up
Yeah.
just one Instagram account. Now, if you
Mm.
multiply that, then it becomes even more work. So what I'm trying to do with my channel is I'll just say, hello everybody, or hello friends, my name is Arturo. I'm an artist and a technologist because that is the kind of the area where I operate. Now there's a term of creative technologist and we can get into what that means and like why I don't say that specifically, but the whole point there being sometimes you're going to get art, sometimes you're going to get me geeking out about
Yeah.
stuff. And I
Yeah.
want to prime whoever's actually going to hit the subscribe button to just know that because it's not always going to be Blender. Most recently, like this stuff is artificial intelligence. And that's kind of that's my jam. I'll just be using one tool and then for another 3 days, I'll be using another one. And that's what you can expect. But I don't want to have to make one channel for Blender, one channel for this, one channel for the other. So
Yeah.
as the numbers grow slowly, hopefully my 1% will just be people who like to tinker and experiment with stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had to laugh because your intro there, I was like, if I've ever watched one of your videos, that's pretty much what you sound like because I skipped to the good bit.
Yeah. Just fast forward.
Michael.
That's the other thing too. Like when I'm recording it and I get frustrated because so far they've been primarily scripted because I want to make sure that I get everything that I want to say, mostly because, you know, I share these videos with my grandparents and like people that whose first language isn't English or who don't even speak English. So they rely on the translations. So I just want to make sure that I'm methodical, slow, pronounce everything, enunciate. And somebody commented like, you know, you could be a little bit faster. And it's like, obviously I can speak a lot faster than that. But for the sake of the recording, I don't want it to be that. And for the sake of just making sure I say exactly what I want to say, they're scripted. When I get annoyed with myself because I can't memorize the script on a part that I want to be on camera talking like I'm talking like this, instead of just like going cheap between giant air quotes and then hitting it with a voiceover or whatever part I'm talking about, I just remember no one's going to watch this fucking video anyway. So what does it matter? And then that gets me to laugh and then I can just finish the recording.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, it's sad, but it's true. It's like, who's going to watch this anyway? Nobody. Because people, the watch time for the last video, the one that this like background's on, pretty good. But generally speaking, people drop off like 2.5 minutes in, 3 minutes into a 6-minute video, which is not bad, but
yeah, that's
you don't watch till the
kinda
end.
usual.
And kind of like you were saying, Curtis, like you've been putting these emoji stuff, and I had an idea for one that I won't disclose because I don't want people to jump on it. But I've started putting in, or I want to start doing more of the bloopers, because I put in bloopers towards the end of the photogrammetry series.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you watch all the way up until before the end screen, on some of them they'll come up, and some of them are really funny because I fuck up a lot.
Nice. Very nice. You just like you mentioned briefly in that like your family like watching the videos and stuff. It's kind of reminded me recently, like I was going back trying to look up old like school friends, primary school friends that I'm not sure are still alive or not, like on Instagram and that, and like just seeing what they're doing now. One of them that kind of went a bit off actually no, I shouldn't really describe it. I was going to say one of them kind of went off the rails and then kind of say what they're doing now, but I don't really want anyone to figure out like who they are if they watch this back, so I won't say that. But anyway, just like, you know, looking back is kind of reminiscing, gonna move out of the area. I want to know kind of like, hey, yeah, they ended up doing all right, or they ended up dead. But like I accidentally clicked to follow one of them, and I was like, shit, because I didn't want them to know. And the thought crosses my mind now, oh wait, like, are they going to have a look at my profile and then all of a sudden, wait, I'm completely public now, and now I've got like all the YouTube channels there, and now like, what will they think when they look back and like see this? Like, will they even remember? Will it be weird? Like, and all that's going through my mind. It's just the weirdest thing. And like briefly, the subconscious bit of my mind that freaked out when hide the channel. I was like, that's not rational.
That's a lot. Yeah,
Wow,
that's a stretch.
wow.
I was listening to a clip that came up while scrolling on Instagram, and it was Gary V talking about and it was really specific to this, and also helped me kind of ingrain it into my own brain, so that you can't operate like you're still in high school.
Yeah.
People, the gist of it was like, people in high school, when you rock up to high school and you've got a pimple or a zit, you're like, oh God, what are people going to think? You dread actually like getting dropped off or walking to school or whatever. And you're like, oh, I'm going to get flamed about this. And then no one cares because they're all worried about their own pimple.
Yeah.
So don't operate like you're still in high school. And if people are shaming you for your pimple, isn't it sad that they have to stoop so low to make fun of you before you can make fun of them, that they just have to attack you for that one thing? So at the end of the day, is that person really worth paying the attention to and the emotional stress of accepting that they're making fun of your pimple? But just don't be an adult out of high school, or even within high school. Don't be like a person who's operating like they're in high school, because it's just this weird controlled environment that doesn't lend itself to actually being like you. Hopefully it does in the best cases, but in the worst cases, don't be afraid to go in with your pimple. We all have them.
Yeah, we've all had like a bad hair day.
Oh yeah, dude.
I had
every
like
day.
pimples for I
I'm
think.
graying
Oh yeah,
with this channel.
I had the worst 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th of my, because my skin tone was completely dark, like was way darker than like, I think it was almost like
That's all
le-
high school, Charan. 9, 10th, 11th, 12th. That's like the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like it was the worst. I was very self-conscious about my appearance because it was completely filled with pimples. Like there is no space at all. Like once it goes, there was always it used to come up so much, and it took about 6 years to like get rid of them. Like my mom did like, I think, some rituals for that. Like seriously. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Rituals has it like, no, not.
Sorry.
Sacrifice
Just-
the youngest.
No, it's just like just doing an exorcism for his pimple.
No. Rituals has it like, I don't know what else to call them. It's more like, we call it yagnam. Like it's kind of like a metaphor. Like, you know, yeah, it's just a metaphor. Yeah, that's what it is.
There is something
So
else.
seriously,
I wanted
Yeah,
to
go
add
on.
a bit to what Archura was saying there. So I like Grimes, the music artist, Elon Musk's ex-girlfriend now, I think, and I think they're having a second baby anyway. It's like, I don't know, but anyway, I like her music.
Save it for the studio.
Yeah. I like her music, and she's got like a really quirky personality. I think that's kind of cool. I like creative personalities, but she said something interesting on an interview once, which I totally resonate with. And it sounds maybe a bit weird or sad to some people, but I think there's really, really good creative power in it, which is she was really embarrassed about other people seeing her music, family and friends. All right. So she said what she would do is she would pretend to be a fictional character making the music. Or like she would make it as like, oh, now I'm a vampire, or like a pixie vampire, and I'm like in this weird world and I'm singing about that. And she's like, okay, well, it might sound weird to some people, but when I'm doing it through that lens, it's not me. So I'm okay with other people hearing it. And I'm like, actually, yeah, that's really empowering. Because like if you wanna experiment and try new things, but you're embarrassed of other people seeing how you would do it, like, oh, Curtis is bad at that. You can always do it through like an alias, or you can do it as part of like another project and kind of like I give yourself that layer of separation there. So I was thinking that's actually pretty cool. Like if anyone wanted to get into music, that's the obvious example from that takeaway. Just like do it through a creative lens of like a storytelling lens. So it's not like necessarily you singing about your feelings, it's you pretending to be someone else singing about their feelings and stuff like that. And that still helps you learn and take part in those activities, but you've got a bit of a separation there, so you don't feel as cringe about yourself.
The separation can be really real, though. Some people actually have a second persona, which is their camera persona. So them on camera, they're completely different. I don't know if you've read Jimmy Carr's biography.
I haven't read it, but
Jimmy Carr.
Yep. But he's actually a completely different person to the persona that's on stage.
Yeah,
and it's amazing that juxtaposition of those two personalities. And
is it like Rowan
I agree with
Atkinson?
you. Sorry,
Rowan Atkinson and Mr. Bean.
Yeah, potentially.
He's very subtle in real life. He's quite like he's
Peter
calculated.
Parker, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne, Batman.
Yeah, it is
Wait a
quite
minute.
interesting.
No one knows who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
How did you get on the server? Oh, it's Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's something really strong to that separation too, and I think the gist of it, the underlying message there too, is just like don't, when you ask people, you've probably seen this on like Tumblr or maybe if you're Gen Z on TikTok or whatever, but don't wait until you're 80 and then you've got some person interviewing you for like a high school project, and then they ask you, what's the one thing you regret the most? And then you say, I regret that I didn't start doing the thing that I actually really wanted to do earlier. Like, don't be that guy, because you watch this, you heard us talk about it, just like drill it and do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yes, there's an
Whether
orange
it's through a
book,
pseudonym.
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a.
Yeah.
I love that book. Mark Manson. Yes, I love that book.
It's a good read.
I think one lesson that I learned, which was very, very important when growing up through school, was again like not requiring the validation of other people to learn things. And something I kind of tried to talk about in some discussion videos and stuff. I think validation, to give it to people who are learning, is a very important thing. I think like that's why I always
Read that a lot.
lean towards positive reinforcement, positive critique rather than like negative critique and stuff like that, because people need some of it. But I feel like giving it to yourself, or knowing that you have a direction, or you have like an end goal, or like an aspiration in life, like I want to be a successful this, that, and the other, that should be enough for you to keep moving. I feel like that's something I learned in school, and part of that was because I was bullied a bit. Again, I'm being more open about it now, like on the channels and stuff. Like I used to get bullied for sexuality quite a lot. Like people would come up and say weird stuff and like try and get me to like admit to things and all that. And I was kind of like, I didn't really have many people I could share like my own projects or like learning processes with. I had like some really close friends that would do that. We would like, take part in little projects together, and it was like a really nice thing. But it was always like, I couldn't be open about what I wanted to do or like talk about. So it's like, okay, well, this is just a kind of private thing. And in a way, it was also a bit more motivating, because when you kind of feel like you're being watched and like pressured to say or do something or like admit to something, and like people are only looking at you for one thing, it kind of teaches you to focus in on what you actually want in a way. So I think that's something that I think is quite important when you're kind of like putting yourself out there with creative skills, or if you're making content, that that kind of ties into like not letting hate comments sway your direction, because like a hate comment might make me feel a bit weird or angry, but it's never ever going to change my direction. Like so
Oh, but
I like with that one that I had the other day.
I like it when I say something so poignant, everyone responds.
Well, I was just gonna say like I'm gonna leave because I need to sleep. It's really late for me.
Good night.
So.
I have to run out as well, but I was gonna say it's kind of like when you might have read this too somewhere. It's like if you're gonna go to the park and you invite your friends and none of them can go to the park anyway.
Yeah, that's
like
nice.
Your own. Don't just wait for somebody to tag along. You want to play video games, no one's online, just play by yourself. You'll have just as good a time.
Yeah, I like that.
Wow, that rhyme.
I got my first proper, I wouldn't say hate comment, but deliberate troll the other day. And I had preconditioned myself for the moment when I actually saw that comment. It didn't affect me negatively at all. I was through the roof with excitement.
You're like, it
someone had
happened.
the time and it happened. I had the time, and they had the time and energy to actually sit down and try and troll me.
Yeah,
And I was like, haha.
that's
But yeah,
sweet.
but it was a
Yeah.
complete flip. I was just really excited that it happened, and yeah, I don't care. To be quite honest, you know in the
Yeah.
comments you're going to get trolled. Just accept it, move on.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
And one of the things that do any of you ever take like a screenshot of those comments, like whether it's a 5-star review or just those comments that are not just you're the best, but one that actually has a qualification along with it as to why they think that. And so I've got a board in the other room where I've started putting up basically these quotes. It's like an inspiration board. So if you're ever
That's
feeling
nice.
down, you just read it for like even 30 seconds. You're like, yep, I'm amazing.
Damn it, that's really
I
nice.
also-
Actually, I save
Yeah.
I save the negative comments, but I don't save the positive ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know somebody
You
who,
and me could have words.
makes art out of the negative comments.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I
yeah.
should. But no, but I was clearing out my DMs on Discord a couple of days ago, and just to try and make it clean. And I do this. It's not me trying to like look egotistical or stuck up. It's the same kind of feeling I have when I like purge my Twitter following list. It's not because I don't like people. It's not because I don't want to see their thing, and it's not because I just want to have a high ratio. It's because it just feels clean. I have an obsession with like that kind of thing. So I was getting rid of like all my unused DMs and like clearing off friends I don't speak to anymore from the list and keeping it condensed. But there was one on there from someone I don't know, like we're not really friends, but they're a viewer of the channel, and they sent me just like my favorite like message ever that I've ever gotten, and it was after the video about my artwork being used for NFTs, and that's the one where like some people came out of the woodwork and sent messages, and I was like, I cannot delete that one, like I cannot close that DM, so I'll leave that one there. So I was happy about that. So yes, but maybe I should start making like a collection. I think that'd be quite nice, and then I could do an art from love comments. Hi Ellie.
Exactly. And she's disappeared from
Ethereal
the...
Ellie.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't bring you guys any.
Hey,
If
what's
I-
up? What's
If I would have known.
Maybe next time.
Yeah. That's yeah, that's nice. That's I mean I got one recently that was in regards to are we keeping this part in or no?
I mean, we can do. There's been 1 hour 55, so we're making this a 2 hour one.
That's a minute. I got a really nice comment in regards to my recent employment news.
Oh yeah.
Over at Looking Glass.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually do what you said because it's Michael, because it's like obviously right up in the, or not obviously, but it's like right up on the Discord DM, so it's very recent. Since this happened like a couple of days ago, but it was very it was just nice, you know. Didn't inflate my ego. I'm trying, you know, there's something I actively work on. I was just like, okay, this person's obviously very. The best word I can use really to describe the way that they sent this message was they're very excited for me, and it was really nice to feel that. You know, it's not like I haven't felt that before from like friends, family, etc., but just like on the internet, somebody reaching out. It was really similar to when I was working with CS50 and people from around the world would send me messages asking me like, should I go to college? Should I do this? Like, this is so great that you're in this thing. How did you, whatever. But this one was even more special because it was just like specific to my work, not like my relation to my work with or for somebody else. And I was like, that's nice. So I just kept it back pocket, but I really like the idea of having it printed out, not like, again, as an ego inflation exercise, but just as a pick me up when it's needed.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that you have value ultimately.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see it as external motivation, but I personally don't. I just see it as I've had a positive effect in the world, and that's my reward for it, or at least one of the many rewards you can get from doing what we do.
Yeah. Oh, I do have.
I like that a lot.
When we talked about the conference, I mentioned that someone asked for a picture. I have a copy of that picture, and I've kept that as well because I think that's a really sweet one. So yeah.
Fingers crossed, BlenderNest can happen this year.
BlenderNest.
BlenderNest, Blender Conference, whatever. We're taking
Yeah.
over Blender Conference. You heard it here
It's happening.
Fingers
Oh,
crossed,
that would be
BlenderNest
so
can
fun.
happen, just like disappearing, like Thanos, like just clicked us away.
Hey, I'm on 2 hours sleep. I'm surprised I made it through.
It's all right. You're also on a 2-hour podcast. This is quite draining.
Yeah.
We will close it up in a sec. Is there anything you want to say? Anything else?
If you've watched this far, why don't you go ahead and drop a an egg emoji down on the comments so that we know you're a real OG who sticks through all the way to the end, and we love you for it.
Egg.
Egg.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you,
Awesome.
everyone. I mean, I could have just ended it there. I might do whoever's editing. I don't mind. But
It's okay. Curtis has to have the last word.
Words.
no. I think we'll just end it
I'm
there.
just-
It's like I hover over the stop
No, you
recording. I hover over the stop recording button, and I'm like, well, do I push it? Is there like anything else?
My last word.